All right, Steve, we should be good to go.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Fire Department Facilities Project Building Committee. It is January 21st, and if we could do call to order, Jonathan. Okay. I'm sorry, roll call. I'm a little messed up here. Pledge of Allegiance is what I meant to say. You stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible,
in liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Now the roll call, Jonathan.
Sure, Miss Avey.
Here.
Mr. Minor. Here. Miss McNamara.
Here.
Mr. Brown. Here. Mr. Hartby. Here. Mr. Sobieski. Here. Mr. Stam. Here. All right, let the record show that everybody's here.
Thank you. Next is public participation. We have nobody on Zoom. Is there anybody in the room, Jonathan?
Anybody like to make public participation? No, I think we're good, Steve.
Okay. Next item is comments by committee members. Anyone have anything for the good of the committee? Seeing no hands.
I do have a question.
Yep.
Excuse me,
Go
Steve,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I was not researching, I was going back through emails and I saw an email that was sent on November 11th about the brief update that Jonathan sent us, that Chief Traumer and him met with the architect and everything. Was that something that someone on that the commission should have been informed about or included in to go with? I was just curious. It was post
Typically not,
election
Teresa.
week, so-
Yeah, so it's just the architect doing his research to make sure that he's covering his bases and talking to obviously the end user being the chief. And I'm assuming maybe the captain of that facility was also there with them, just to make sure that they're going down the right road. That's all. So no decisions were made. They were just putting some options together that they're going to present to us tonight.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Steve.
Yep. Anybody else? We have approval of minutes. We have one, the September 17th meeting. If someone would like to
Make a
move that
motion to
motion.
approve.
Second. Stanley, and a second.
Second. Donald.
By Donald. Any questions, comments on the minutes? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 7, old business, we have none. Item 8, new business, which is actually the review of the program spreadsheet and draft conceptual design options with Robert Roach from who is an architect with Fryer Associates. I'm assuming Bob is in the room.
Yes, he is.
Steve.
Good afternoon, Bob, or good
Good
evening.
afternoon, Mr. Chair. Thank you. My name is Bob Roach. I'm Vice President of Pryor Architecture. We've been doing business in town. We're currently helping on the John Wallace renovations right now. And to answer the earlier question about the meeting that was on site, Jonathan and I met with the folks from the fire department. And that was our initial, what we call programming phase. That's where we go out. We look at the existing plans, we look at the spaces, and we do an accounting of what is in, if I may, the existing building. And we're talking to the fire department folks about their needs. And then we put that into what I'm handing out as a program sheet. So you'll see on this sheet is a listing of all the existing spaces.
Thank you.
General descriptions of what the rooms are and their sizes. That will help us with our. The spaces you want to put into the new facility is the second set of columns. So we give you the number of spaces required, a description, about approximate square footage of the space that we start with, that start to facilitate our conceptual design. and what that comes out, total square feet for each areas. And it's broken out into departments. So we have operations, common areas, the apparatus and equipment. So that's the truck bays and the areas supporting the truck bays, administration offices, personnel rooms and areas. And then we have our mechanical rooms and a circulation factor of 20%. And that's going to cover your corridors, your stairs, your elevators. Our next step was we took those areas and we worked with the civil engineer, worked with town engineering staff to get the GIS information confirming initial setbacks and what the town is required or may not be required to do with town buildings. We plotted all that out in the sheet, and what you see here on the larger sheets is a color representation of the existing lot, showing pretty much the paving areas where they stand today. It's almost wall-to-wall paving at the front and the side of the building. And then there's a little green area in the back where they currently have an exterior generator, dumpster, and that shed is what you see on the green lawn there. And then it goes to the neighbor's driveway next door. So this is our initial concept working with the program sheet that you have here. And we've represented the spaces on the plan. So we have a first floor and a second floor plan, and then we have blow-ups just to take out the context of the site, and you can see the spaces a little bit better. So we've, based on our initial discussions, and we have not, this is just the initial conceptual option. We have not had much back and forth with the fire department just yet, but we wanted to see what we're seeing for the program, how that may look in the areas, the adjacencies, what areas should be next to which for operations. So on the first floor in the front, where the front of the building is now pretty much, we have an apparatus bay for the existing truck and one for the new truck that they hope to purchase, or they have?
We have a little store there.
Okay. So there's the new truck that they already have and that they're looking to store at the new building. And that's a little bit longer, so that bay goes deeper back into the building. And then off of the apparatus bay, we have some of the rooms which support the truck. So we have the area of SCBA, that's for their breathing apparatus. We have their gear storage, equipment storage right off of there. And then over towards the side of the building, we have we put in a vestibule entrance from the side of the building. Currently, it's right at the front. So we tried to save some space for parking towards the front of the building. And the light blonde areas you'll see there are the corridors. And then off of that, we have offices and storage. We have a space for mechanical at the back of the building right now. We'll, as the conceptual plans get approved, we'll refine those a little bit more as we move areas around, make sure we have enough square footage for the equipment we propose to put inside the building. There was talk of possibly including the generator inside the building. That's still to be determined, but we've combined that mechanical area to encompass the electrical room and the telephone IT equipment as well. And then we have an elevator and stairway off in the corner in the purple, in the corner of the building, which leads you upstairs, where we have the rest of the spaces. We have rooms for male and female staff, so they each have a separate toilet, locker room, and dorm area. We also have a large day room or meeting space that'll be multi-purpose with a kitchen right off of it. And then our storage space and the stairwell and the elevator. So again, this is an initial blush. I would really defer to the department on what they think of it right now. It seems to meet their needs and the adjacencies.
The only question would be is the bay size.
Hey, Chief, can you come up to the table with Bob so that it gets onto the microphone? Thank you.
No problem. So initially looking at the drawing, this is the first time I'm actually seeing it. So you have two different bay sizes. Currently, if you're looking at the print, the one to the right is smaller than the one to the left. Right now, we do have a smaller truck in that firehouse. But with industry standards, everything's getting bigger. So unfortunately, this size apparatus bay would actually be too small for any of our apparatus going forward. What I gave you as a drawing, that is actually the size of the vehicles that we're purchasing now, which I believe is 31 and change. 34. So again, that's just a hair bit shorter. If we can get that extended back more, because like I said, that's just looking forward. Right now, that apparatus is that size, but it's potentially going to be bigger.
Okay. I can easily make that change, and what I'll do in the next iteration of the plan is I will I'll dash in the size of the truck, so you can see that you have 3 feet, at least 3 feet clear around on all sides.
Okay. So that's just quickly looking just at that part. The rest of it on the first floor seems okay. Yeah.
My only other thing was.
Ed, you cut off.
If you want to come up.
And folks, this is Captain Ed Paltz, the captain of Station 4.
I'm Captain Ed Patz of Company 4. We had discussed, Chief, on this, that we could go back further if we had to lengthwise, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So,
And again, this is just the first drawing that, and we can move stuff around. That's why
we
we're
could make
here
it
tonight.
longer if we have to. too.
Yes.
Sure.
So that everything matches up to that. The
Right.
base of the size.
So the building that's proposed on the site is a little bit longer than your existing building, but as you can see, we still have plenty of space in the rear. As we do that, then we'll start to think about things as well, such as regulars. But we do have room on the site to increase that.
Wow, what's the existing footprint to the proposed footprint?
I do not have it shown on this plan. I can certainly provide that. This is current proposed building is a little bit longer, the rear by about 6 feet or so, and a little bit wider at the front, well, certainly where it jogs out at the vestibule on the side. The existing building is probably 10 feet shorter.
Okay, shorter in the width, with the length being a little bit longer, is that?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I just would be curious to what the actual footprint is both ways.
Sure. Yeah.
For the kitchen, it says in the staff requirements, it looks like in the plan that it's a wall, but it says a serving counter. So is that gonna be an open wall?
Yes, we can put that in there. I haven't shown any windows on the plan, just doors, so you get a sense of where you're entering the rooms, how they lay out. That would be the next round. There's the show exterior and interior windows. We would have a pass through, maybe a roll up door.
Okay.
Back to the bays. What is the distance from the front of the bay to the road up front?
It's at the same location where it is currently. In fact, you can barely see a little dashed line in front there. That's the existing facing building. Again, if I provide that footprint showing the existing versus the proposed.
So I'm asking because I want to make sure that when the apparatus is out of the bay, it's not sticking into the road.
Yes, I would agree to that.
I have a question about the gear storage room. Is the intention of that to be where the firefighters' turnout gear is stored,
Correct.
So there's no.
as opposed to being in lockers in the bays?
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is get it out of the bay area and kind of put it in a separate area into like a gear storage area. Keep it away from the fumes, that type of stuff for carcinogens, that type of stuff. It would stay in a gear area.
In the SCBA, is that intended for like a
That
fill
would be for a
station?
filling station. Yep.
And I see
And
there's
equipment storage is basically any type of storage that basic equipment.
Bob, second story accessibility. Well, it's not just level of detail yet, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we are showing an elevator in that.
All right, so off the vestibule, that is,
And then we'll provide accessibility at the washrooms and all that. Because we do have that meeting room upstairs, so it's intended that may be.
That's correct. Yep. So just question on parking with this type of layout. What are you talking number of spaces potentially on a situation with this layout sitting here?
I think no less than you currently have, but as we push and pull the building, if we have to pull it back a little, get you more apron space in the front. As we extend the building, then maybe we start to consider, okay, does the whole building move one way or another to gain you more spaces? We'll do that next level.
Yeah, because that would be crucial for the parking situation, just to make sure that we can maximize the amount of parking that we have in the parking lot. So if we gotta tweak it one way or the other, I'd rather have more parking spaces just so that, you know, visitors, whatever it may be, even firefighters can be able to park there.
Sure, and we'll look at, straight in, angled parking. every kind of
Absolutely.
Situation we can.
So, another question, and it might be an unpopular one, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. There are 3 offices. You have an admin office on the first floor, a captain's office on the second floor, and a lieutenant's office on the third floor. Is that,
The admin office on the first floor would be like the watch room.
then what's the ops dispatch
Yeah.
one for?
Communication.
Yeah, so in all technicality, one of those offices could go away. Even the admin office downstairs, we could probably eliminate
I'm
and
thinking
just
of,
keep the offices upstairs, or move the captain's office downstairs into the admin office and leave the lieutenants upstairs. So if the captain had to have a meeting, it's kind of by himself
Mhm.
type thing. But again, that's,
Why
would be
would
good.
I'm
you?
just saying, if you eliminate the admin office on the first floor and
Then the
shift
Move the
SCBA
SCBA
over,
down.
you've just
Yeah.
gained the space you need for the length of the
that's a
bag.
good point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why would you need admin and a dispatch?
Well, that you don't. So that's what I'm saying. You could eliminate the admin. That was,
Okay, and what's the dispatch?
so dispatch is anytime the firefighters come in from a call, they actually have to fingerprint in and actually get credit for the call. The dispatch also is if we had to dispatch out of that firehouse, it gives us the ability to be able to do it there. Answer phones, the computer's there, everything's in that room.
Okay, so there would be computers down in dispatch and then in the captain's and lieutenant's office
That-
too.
That is correct. That's the way it is now.
And I'll just talk to like a report room.
Okay.
Yeah, if you were to take that SCBA and spin it sideways and overlay it on the admin, that almost might gain you almost that full bay length.
Another question about the width of the bay doors.
Okay, so currently, what we try to do in our firehouse bay doors is we go to at least 12 to 14.
Yep.
One of our new firehouses that we just recently did. We went to 14-foot doors. And the only reason is because now you start getting the width of the apparatus is getting wider. Fortunately, standard just keep changing. So we just, instead of having to do it 10 times, we just do it as a larger door. Sure. So, yeah, good question, Don.
Another proposal for the kitchen. I know their kitchen right now is kind of small. But if you were to slide the kitchen to like the, I don't know, you would say north side or A side of the building, like in the meeting day room, like put it here and have like the wall of the kitchen with an island facing the day room. That might be more usable in more room.
It is, I was just trying to keep all the plumbing as close to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
Keep down on
Because
cost, and then you're
they're-
not gonna have anything coming out from the area.
Okay,
So
we've gotta have some plumbing for like the hoses and the.
would there be access from the male dorm to the meeting/day room, or do you have to trek through the showers and the bathroom to the corridor?
The idea is that they would all be on the lot, there'd be in a row on the male side, if you wanted to have a door from the dorm into the day room, that's up to the users.
Is it once?
See, the difficult part is if you have a female and God forbid the door is open and someone sees something that they're not supposed to, that creates an issue.
I
So
mean,
that's why there would be no doors there,
Okay.
where they would actually have to walk around. And that's just, it's a smart move doing it that way. not
company
having
one
a
is
door.
set up like that.
Well,
It,
except,
you know,
well,
it does take a little bit longer to walk around. It's a safer practice.
Lawsuits.
Kitchen should be in the middle.
Well, while you're talking before about mechanical, on the plumbing side of things, I don't know if you saw it there or not, but there's usually at least one, if multiple fill stations overhead in the bays to be able to fill the trucks when they're backed in. Just wasn't sure, just to
Yeah,
take that into
I
account.
want to keep all the domestic plumbing away from that, just to give us as much free reign as possible.
Right,
Yeah.
because I believe that's also domestic, if I remember correctly. It's not
I meant
separated
more
out.
of that
Right,
house
right.
plumbing. So I think we'll get to on the next go round with the engineers.
At first blush. It works.
I mean, this is what we call a cartoon set. It's just making sure you have your adjacencies right. You know, the proportions are looking okay, and then, you know, we'll sculpt it as we go.
So just one question, in the front of the building, there is no door?
No, we have the truck doors, and then we have the public entrance on the side. So there's no crossing of vehicular and pedestrian.
Because the only reason I asked that question is it seems odd they have to go all the way to the back of the firehouse to go into the firehouse. So all I would suggest is to have some type of entry door, whether it be
A
in
man
the
door
front,
for staff.
yeah, for either in the front or the side, just so that you have the ability to get into the firehouse from the front.
But you can get in, I mean, chief, the vestibule, right?
Yeah, that
So
would
you
be,
can get in from the back, like near the shed, and then you can get in from whatever, like on the side.
yeah, but what I'm saying is you
From the
can't
front.
get you can't go into the front
Oh, I
unless
see.
the bay
Yeah.
doors are open. So if you had some type of man door, it's
Yeah.
just to try to get in there for staff reasons.
If the garage doors
Yeah.
are closed.
Yeah,
And it looks like there's enough width on the offset.
Yeah.
On,
They have these big doors now.
Got even room for storm areas.
well, you got the bifold doors, the new preferred versus the roll-ups is what they're doing in a lot of firehouses now because of the time of opening. The bifolds are becoming more and more popular on new construction.
And
they are nice, but they're expensive and troublesome sometimes.
Yeah, well, I've heard actually that the opposite on the troublesome part, that I've heard that they're actually performing better. than they
Yeah, it's
are
on it. I mean, I have,
the overhead.
we can look into any way, whatever works best.
And the reason for the dorms, since this is a volunteer fire department,
So we're building this firehouse for 25, 30 years down the road. We have no idea what is gonna transpire down the road. Plus, anytime we have a storm standby, there is absolutely no places for our firefighters to sleep at this point. Right now, they sleep on cots,
Cots everywhere.
whether it be in an office, whether it be in our day room. So the dorms are just there for future use and for storm standbys. Those are, and right now, there is no male, female. It's basically a unisex bathroom. There's actually no showers at this firehouse at this point. It's just bathrooms.
So the latest building was twos, and they did do the
We did.
first iteration of separate bathrooms for separate showers. But every other firehouse, I believe,
Well, there's three
does have a total separation.
Yeah, but do they have a
but threes
shower
doesn't
in
have
the
showers.
women's room in threes?
The ladies do not have a shower.
They don't have a shower.
And neither does company ones.
Once. So that's just more for future, for realistic future use.
Mhm.
So any of these bay adjustments that we just discussed wouldn't impact
For example, the storage area.
And no, we would adjust everything and you wouldn't try to take away from something. Unless, we get to the point where we're really, looking at, get to the point of estimating, we're talking about dollars per square foot, and then we're, narrowing down on our square footages, but for the time being, we want to make an ideal plan. and-
I understand, sure.
But
Gotta
we
run
won't-
with the
we won't
plan
take away
first.
from it.
And then you'll be developing a budget soon, I assume.
Yes, with the next round of plans, getting a little more information from the civil engineer and from the mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineers. And then we'll give that to our third party estimator, put it all together.
Thank
So,
you.
Bob, the plan is essentially complete demolition of existing, correct?
That's what this is proposing. yes.
Okay. And not to try to salvage or reuse anything, which I agree with. I think It's
Yeah.
better served.
No, especially on a building this small, it sounds good in practice to try and say, well, let's retain what we can, but it's past the useful life. Thank you. You want a facility that's gonna last you, for another 60, 70, 100 years.
So what adjustment would be made, chief, with this particular facility down?
So during the construction of this firehouse, we would actually take this fire apparatus and we would move it to probably one of our firehouses over by Elmdale Pizza, which is Station 5. They would roll out of there. We would make some adjustments on storage needs there. So in the meantime, we could actually run out of that firehouse while this is being built over constructed.
One last question. Do you have an estimate of the time to do this rebuild? What would you ask?
From
Nobody's
experience.
holding you to anything, but
It really, I think it's gonna depend on, what we find out, with the site. Is it a clean site or is it not a clean site? Cause that can, always add some time, but I can't see this. Between 12 and 18 months, I would say, all in.
It'll be best case, worst case, essentially, right? That's 6 months.
thank
Yeah,
you.
After it gets through referendum, correct, Bob?
Right, yeah.
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. And then also keep in mind, it's tight sight lines with the neighbors too. So there's, we want to take our time and not rush anything, just to make sure everyone's safe.
And so remind me, are you guys doing like a phase one or was that something on us?
That was not included.
That was not
in
included.
this.
So we have to sort of talk about
Yeah, which
internally
I-
doing
I
some
think
soil
we
testing.
Kind of blushed on
Yeah,
back in the fall.
yeah.
It's something to consider.
Okay.
And that's something I can certainly get a proposal from my civil engineer, so you know the ballpark.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Are there any grants available?
So there are grants available. The difficult part about AFG grants right now is because we are considered a sanctuary state. They actually, the federal government has been withholding any federal grants to the state of Connecticut. It's not to say that we can't look at them again. And there's always opportunity to look for grants. We have a grant writer that we work with, Sonia Workers from the town. She's fantastic. She'll look through everything possible to try to get a grant for us. So I have no problem looking at them. But right now, unfortunately, the federal government we actually have 2 grants sitting on hold right now just because of the whole sanctuary state.
I understand.
So it's a little difficult. I'd love to be able to say, yeah, I could go get the whole project, but it ain't gonna happen right now. Who knows if and when they'll open that up.
Did you look under Homeland Security grants too?
So I have not yet. So I will, like I said, I'll reach out to Sonia if it's okay with
Yeah,
the committee. And just see if she can entertain, just look at different options that are available to us.
Because Norwich got a grant, if I'm not, excuse me, Norwich got a grant, if I'm not mistaken, to reconstruct the Public Works Department by the river there. And they also built a diking system to make sure it doesn't flood. And that was built under Homeland Security.
Okay.
It was about a year ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Right now, any budget that the architect comes up with is going to be absent of any of that, right? Doesn't matter of reality.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay.
And Bob, the next round is where we should start to see some conceptual numbers based on the footprint size, so cost per square foot.
That's what it is.
Fair
Yes.
assessment.
Yep, we'll do a whole project estimate. We'll work with you to, make sure we're on the same page about what we see for escalation in the out years. I'll tell you what my my estimator's thinking about that, and then we'll talk about contingencies and anything else that may need to be covered on the owner side outside of construction costs.
Now, Steve or Jonathan, can we reach out to Environment under our initial contract that we have with them to take a first blush at it?
With, like a phase one? Yeah, I gotta check what we have available for funding right now. Let me look back into that. I mean,
Because that, unfortunately, we all know how this works, and I hate the way it works. But unfortunately, we have to have a project.
Yeah.
With projected costs.
Yeah.
To go to a referendum.
yeah, of course.
But in lieu of that, in order to get the cost, we generally can't do detailed work in advance. Without knowing we have a project.
Yeah,
So that's where the caveat has been.
yeah. So I mean, I guess Bob will get a price quote for you know, the.
Because I think that's. a
And then-
very
and then we'll
important
figure out-
component. We know by its age, PCBs are gonna be there, especially, we know that some things are gonna be present by its age.
Yep.
Yeah, I
So
think the
we'll-
unknown though
we'll-
is what's in, Chris, the unknown is what's in the ground that, you know, I think
Exactly, agreed.
so the PCBs, the asbestos, that they'll be able to identify, but, you
Yep.
know, God forbid, there's contaminants in the ground. That could get very,
Right,
I mean, right now, like dealing with John Wallace, if you fill
Right.
one of those 30-yard dumpsters, which only takes 10 yards because of weight, is $10,000.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
just to get it out of
and I'm
there.
sure there were underground storage tanks at one point for oil back in its early heyday, I'm sure, so.
No,
You don't
and
know.
I'm sure it also was probably a farm, so there could be, you know, heavier metals in the ground. I mean, let's
Right.
hope not, but plus it's also a wetter area of a town, so it was probably filled, and God knows where that fill came from. Even though it's probably filled 70, 80, 90 years ago, it was still probably
Right.
filled.
Right.
Okay.
And last
Um,
question I've got,
yep.
Steve, is projection for a timeline is, would this potentially be a November 26 referendum question, or has there been no discussions at that level on the council side?
Well, there's been no discussions I mean, no formal discussions on the
Okay.
council side. I mean, you know, I think we're talking something like, I'd have to check with James about specific timeline for when we'd have to have everything teed up.
It's around August is about.
Well, no, it's
September.
before that. It's
June.
I thought it was more like,
August is pretty, but it's gotta be
Yeah,
a project at that
Yeah.
point.
To get it on the ballot, I believe it's the first week of
No, it's August, September. something.
September has to be to the Secretary of State, I
okay.
want to say.
But my
Off
question to
the
you,
top.
Bob, is that realistic for this year, or is that not allowing enough?
No, that's realistic. We
Okay.
can get everything tied down pretty well in like a month or so, I think. And then we'll be looking at the finer points and, you know, we can help you with any kind of graphics or information you may need for referendum when the time comes.
Just correct me if I'm wrong, at this point, we have a truck that is inbound that's not gonna fit somewhere. Am I correct in that statement or incorrect?
That is correct.
Not yet, but coming soon.
It won't fit into this station, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And no spare apparatus that we currently, or will be getting rid of one, but the one that it's gonna replace will not fit in its firehouse.
So let me throw out, everybody through with questions and comments?
I guess, I have to go back to the gear storage again. I'm sorry. Roughly, that's like a 9x9 room, just based on the door size here.
Yeah, I think it's 10 by 10.
Square feet.
It's 100
Okay.
square feet.
All right. So I'm just trying to picture 3, 4, 5 guys
One at a
responding for
time.
call, trying to put gear on in that room. I'm having trouble with that.
Yeah, it's tight.
I know what you're saying about keeping the gear away from the exhaust fumes and everything. I'm just from a practical day-to-day response, I see that as being a problem, that space.
These are your first blushes.
Right, yeah.
This is definitely, take that into consideration, but. And I would agree, a 10 by 10 with, even if you had 10 sets of gear, 12 sets of gear in there. I'm just trying to think, my locker, I think, is 2 foot wide,
Yeah, it's 2x2.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I mean, well, if we're gonna get rid of the admin and we're gonna flip at the breathing apparatus room over. Maybe we look at doing, instead of, 10 by 10, do 5 by 20, just have a
Yeah,
big long row of
elongated,
them
I
right
think.
there.
That
And then
works.
stick the equipment storage behind it.
Yeah, that I think would probably make a little bit more sense.
So the other option, instead of just leave. This was an option I was just suggesting, which is not a bad idea. You could actually take and make the gear storage and equipment storage as one big room. So you're actually doing it as a whole room versus having two separate rooms.
And then use one length wall essentially
Correct.
for all your lockers. Yeah, that would probably make sense.
So eliminate one of these doors and you can eliminate that and just make it as one big room.
Sure,
We
and
can
then you have a
actually just-
bunch of options.
Then
You
we have
could,
the options for everything in there.
right, you could do the lockers in the U shape and have the gear on the
Yeah.
far wall.
You might be able to also remove, shoring up the mechanical room a little bit, a couple of feet.
Yes, depending on what's going in
Right.
there and the clearances we need, we can steal some space from there. if possible.
I mean, ideally, the preference would be to have the generator in the building, correct? Is that the new preferred or is that actually just the opposite?
Is the fire marshal here?
Yeah, not in the room today.
No, well, we would look at the options and see what, if it's gonna add any cost, just so you can make that decision.
Yeah.
But certainly, with noise, I think the neighbors would like you a lot more,
To have it in the building.
to have it in the building.
Yeah, and I don't think it's overwhelming, we, at our firehouse, it's inside the building and as long as the doors are closed, it's not too obnoxious.
So currently 3 out of 5 of our firehouses actually have the generators inside. 2 of them are outside. One of them is this firehouse.
And I think the longevity actually is better
It is.
with
It
that
is.
inside the building.
You're correct.
So yes, 3 out of 5, we already currently have that.
Excuse me, the last day for the municipal clerk to file with the Secretary of the State is Monday, September 21st.
Oh, it's actually a lot longer.
Okay.
than that.
Another question, the 2 storage rooms, that back equipment storage, what is the use of those? Like, why is it 2 separate storages, not just one?
It could have been one space they wanted some extra storage just for everyday office supplies, other supplies, toilet supplies, etc. So we just made 2 closets off the corridor.
Because there's 2 storages in the dispatch area too, so I just,
Right, so those storages would be specific to those rooms.
Yeah, speaking
Any
from
other
experience. I'm sorry, Steve,
questions?
go ahead.
I said, any other questions or comments?
Just
I've
my
got-
last comment would be company 2, when it was built in 05, storage was definitely shorted in that option. So I would
Yes,
definitely recommend that we do this for a 20-year, especially with all the additions upstairs to not run short on storage.
the first comment in any new building. We could have used a little more storage.
And now that we have sheds outside now as a result of not being able to have it inside. Thank you, Steve. That's all I have.
Okay. Anyone else before I go on?
I would just say I agree with the time schedule. Once you get done with the Bay Area, you just move it right along.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, forgive me, Steve, if I'm gonna ask the question that you were gonna ask, but how much time will you need to turn around through engineering and cost estimate to come back to us? What,
I think, let's look at, a couple of weeks just to turn around a new plan with some of these iterations and some more feedback from the engineers. And if that looks good, then I'll turn it over to the cost estimator while we're making any final tweaks and we'll, in the middle, so I'd say like a month from now.
What's your total square footage anticipated?
4,738.
It's at the bottom of the page, Mr. Harpy, 4738. And that's,
That's what I figured. It's gonna be close to 4,000 square feet.
And that's gonna get a little larger if you increase the Bay Area.
possibly,
Yeah,
possibly, but as we're moving things around,
Right.
we're gonna try to be efficient.
okay, thank you.
Anything else? As we start to build the schedule, which now we have the date from Teresa. Thank you, Teresa, for getting that. That's kind of our drop dead date for the state. But I think we also have to factor in the time that we're gonna need with the council. So they're gonna require at least 2 meetings. And that's
correct, 'cause we'll need
obviously
to do an ordinance, right? We'll need to do an ordinance to get
correct.
it on the ballot, which will take by definition a month.
You gotta have a public hearing too.
Public hearing, the whole
Yeah.
thing, yeah, so.
So we probably
If I
should
remember,
figure
Steve.
2 months for start to finish, depending
Yeah.
on what. So I think we probably need to start building that schedule, because as we all know, that date's gonna be on us before we know it, if we're trying to make the 26 election ballot. And then my next thing is, we have a weird month this month because the first of the month was Thursday. Our fourth, we were supposed to meet the third and fourth, third Wednesday and fourth Thursday, which is tomorrow. Obviously, that doesn't make any sense. And I don't know that we need to meet next Thursday. I think what I would suggest, if everybody has these plans down, take them home, go through them. If you have any additional comments, get them to Jonathan. Jonathan can get them to Bob. And then when we do decide to meet, which I believe would be the first meeting, which is February 18th. Bob, would you think you would have preliminary numbers by then, or that's too soon?
That's 1 month to the day, Mr. Chairman. You're holding me to it. Yes, we'll work to try and get those numbers in by the 18th.
I could buy you 1 more week. We could do the 26th. That help?
No, I work better on a deadline. If I have to ask
Okay.
for more time, I will.
Okay, yeah, so we'll set it for the 18th. If you don't think you're gonna make it, just let myself or Jonathan know and we'll push the meeting to the 26th.
Well, there is a UConn game that night on the 18th. That's all I'm saying.
So we'll make sure we get you out early,
That's why they have the.
but you'll have to listen to it, on your car radio. Thank God it's in Connecticut, right? So. Okay, if we're done, I'm gonna move on to public participation. One last shot. Any questions for Bob before we end this? Jonathan, you have anything you want to add?
No, nobody's in the audience, so.
Okay,
Hands
so
raised.
nobody in the audience, and there's still nobody on Zoom. Next item then is 10, comments by committee members. Who says committee members don't get to speak, huh?
Motion to adjourn.
And then obviously, motion to adjourn. I believe Stanley just made it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.
29. Thank you.
Stay warm.
Enjoy your heat down there.
Yeah.
Not doing that one, so the next time we'll.
Good. Okay, so that one's canceled. That's what I thought.
Good